The Desert Healthcare District and Foundation presents a podcast that supports your health and wellness where you live. This is Healthy Desert, Healthy You, hosted by Will Dean. Now, here's Will.
Hello, friends. Today I'm joined by Mr. Rob Wheeler, who is the Executive Director of Mizell Center in Palm Springs. Welcome, Rob.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
The name Mizell has been around our community for a long time. Tell us about the center and what you do there.
Yeah, so Mizell just celebrated our 50th anniversary.
Congratulations.
We're in Palm Springs, right on Sunrise and Ramon. So we do a lot of things at Mizell. We are a hub for the senior community in Palm Springs and the greater area. We have a number of health and wellness programs, arts and cultural programming. That includes everything from card games, mobility, physicality, intellectual engagement, and socialization. I think the other piece that's really important is that we are the only Meals on Wheels provider in the Coachella Valley. And so what that means is that we prepare about 650 meals each weekday, and those are delivered to folks who are homebound. We have a fantastic crew of drivers and a lot of vans. And then we also have congregate meal sites. And so we serve lunch at Mizell each weekday at 11:15 to about 100 people. And then we deliver meals to 4 other senior centers in Indio, Coachella, Desert Hot Springs, and Cathedral City for their congregate lunch program, which is really critical for folks who may be feeling loneliness or isolation. It's really an opportunity not only to have a nutritious meal, but to engage with community.
Yeah, that's really impressive, especially the additional services in addition to the food.
Yeah.
Are your drivers, do they receive any sort of special training in order to engage with people and find out what their needs are?
Yeah, they do. So they're trained specifically to identify signs of elder abuse or neglect. They're also CPR trained so that they can intervene if necessary. But I think what's really important about the drivers is that they maintain consistency in their routes, and so they develop relationships with the people that we serve. So they know what to expect and know the patterns of the household. And so if they see something that seems to be maybe going in the wrong direction, they're able to intervene immediately, bring that information back to us at Mizell, and provide referrals for our clients.
Wonderful. What are some of the other challenges that you see through your work that our senior community is facing?
The challenge of social isolation is a really significant one. I think in particular in Palm Springs and in the Valley, a lot of folks move here later in their years, maybe with a spouse or a partner, or they have some connection to family here. And as they grow older, maybe that partner passes away, children take a job in another location, and they find themselves, they had a social infrastructure, and then suddenly they're on their own. And they're not really accustomed to that, and they're not sure where to turn. And so part of our role is to be that place for them, to not only provide them with opportunities to socialize with others, but also to do life enriching and things that improve their overall well-being and physicality.
For listeners who may be experiencing that lack of social infrastructure or know someone who is, how do they get involved with Mizell?
It's really easy. So if they have access to the internet, you can visit Mizell at mizell.org. We have a relatively new website. It's chock full of information that help people find ways to engage. But most importantly, they can just come in. We are open at 8 a.m. every weekday. We have evening and weekend programming as well. And we have a membership program. It's $40 a year, but you don't have to be a member to come to Mizell and to participate in any of our activities, most of which are free or relatively low cost.
Tell me about some of the activities, the ways that you address loneliness and isolation.
So game playing is a really big thing. So we have bridge, mahjong, Uno. We do it in both formal ways. So they're actual programming that we're facilitating that's happening for 90 minutes or 2 hours. There's a facilitator who's managing that space. And then we also have tables and chairs. And a lot of our members and visitors just pull up a table and chair, and they have their set of 4 or 6 people that they spend a few hours with. It's very common after lunch to find little groups of people that have built and developed friendships while they're at Mizell.
So as someone who's lived in the community a while, I'm familiar with Mizell. I've been there a few times for events. talk about the program that's not just for seniors. You have quite a variety of things that you offer.
Yeah, so we've really stepped up our arts and cultural programming, and much of that happens in the evening and on the weekends, which is a relatively new thing for Mizell the last couple of years. And much of it involves intergenerational programming. So it may be of specific interest to seniors, but also have an interest to other members of the community. And so then we see folks discovering Mizell as a cultural hub and a community center that certainly is here for seniors, but really is here for everyone. In addition to that, we have several meeting spaces in an auditorium, and so we make those available to community groups and organizations where they literally can rent the space, and it comes with the furnishings that they need, the equipment, the AV, and they can hold their own individual event, which is really for their target audience, but then we invite everyone who visits Mizell to attend those events as well.
And also the meals that you mentioned earlier that are prepared in-house, that's open to the public, right?
It is. So the program is through Riverside County Office on Aging, which is a significant funder for us. But anyone can come. And lunch if you are a participant in the county program, it is an optional donation of $3. But if you're not in the county program of any age, you can have lunch for $5. So we have a lot of caregivers who come and attend with their client, and so they're able to participate and engage as well.
I want to shift a little bit back to the health aspect, to us. The loneliness, the isolation. There's a mental health component to that. Are there different ways that you are working to identify those needs?
Yes, so I think the mental health piece is important, but we know that there's a relationship to isolation and loneliness that also has a physical impact on people's well-being.
Okay.
People spend a lot of time alone, not engaged with others. Their sort of awareness or ability of how they're taking care of themselves physically, good nutrition, exercise, exposure to sunlight, that decreases. And so I think what we do is really just create a space where people can come in regardless of their interest, their level of potential shyness or apprehension to get involved socially, and create lots of different ways that people can connect that maybe has a sort of low barrier to entry, I guess is one way to put it.
Okay. I know of one event coming up that we're involved with on October 25th, 2025. I believe our mobile medical clinic is going to be at Mizell, providing services.
Yep.
What are some other events that you have coming up that you want to share?
So one thing I'll plug is we have a fundraising event. Mizell presents Cheyenne Jackson live in concert. We have about several handfuls of tickets left. It's happening at the Palm Springs Cultural Center on November 12th at 7 p.m. Tickets are available on mizell.org or on the Cultural Center website. And you had asked earlier, what are some of the challenges? And one of the challenges that we have is funding and just ensuring that we have consistent revenue to support the work that we're doing, and things like the Cheyenne Jackson concert really do that for us.
I hope everyone goes to the concert, but even if you do not go to the concert, there are ways to actually support. Just be a donor. Just go online and make a donation.
Absolutely. You can make a donation at mizell.org. You can also send a donation in. We'll process it however you want to send it to us. And that we have significant donors who give $50 or less a year, but those really add up and are important to us. And so I think sometimes people focus on the major donors out there writing the big checks, but the grassroots community support really does make a difference for us.
About how many people do you have coming through Mizell daily?
Hundreds. Yeah, we've done an annualized count. The last one was the year after sort of things began to return to normal from COVID, and we're serving about 60,000 folks a year.
Wow.
Yeah. And of course that fluctuates based on the activities or what's happening. But if you think about, we're serving anywhere from 80 to 125 individuals each weekday for lunch.
That's incredible.
Yeah. We have a really good amount of traffic in the building. And I think our location being central, being on the bus line, we also have folks who come to us through the Sunline transportation system that's specifically designed for seniors. So yeah, there's a lot of people coming through our doors.
Speaking of location, you are in the heart of Palm Springs.
Yeah.
Tell our listeners where you are.
So we are on the corner of Ramon Road and Sunrise Way, and we are within Sunrise Park. And so if you're familiar with Sunrise Park, you'll know that there's a number of really incredible anchor organizations in the park. So our neighbors are the Boys and Girls Club, of Palm Springs, the Palm Springs Public Library, who's currently in a renovation. And so they're doing programming in the Mizell space during this renovation period. We also share the park with the ballpark, with the swim center. And so it's really great to have those neighbors and relationships. We look for opportunities to collaborate. For example, coming up this fall, 2025, we have a water aerobics class that's beginning. It's a series of 6 classes, and it's happening in the Boys and Girls Club because they have a pool, right? And in January of 2026, we're collaborating with the ballpark to have senior outings at the park for their midday games, which line up nicely with our lunch service concluding, and then get folks outside when the weather is nice this season and catch a game.
Listening to you, it's really clear that you love what you do.
I absolutely love it. I've worked in the nonprofit space for a couple of decades plus, and the Mizell team and the work of Mizell is incredibly special. I just really thrive with the energy that our staff and volunteers create. And the volunteers is another piece that's really important to mention because Mizell is absolutely fueled by volunteers. We have our front desk, lobby reception. We have a small thrift store called Aunt Betty's inside of Mizell. And then we have the dining service. And all of those components of our work are completely fueled and run by volunteers. So we have a relatively lean, scrappy staff, and then about 80 active volunteers a week who are making things happen at Mizell.
So do you have a really talented volunteer coordinator? Is that fall on you or the rest of the staff?
No, so we have Hector Simpson, who is our Director of Operations and Programs.
I know Hector. Yeah, amazing.
He's an amazing guy. We go way back. We worked together for about 12 years in New York, doing similar work in the LGBT Community Center in Manhattan. And so I'm a big Hector fan, but we all joke that Hector wears anywhere from 5 to 8 hats at a time, and one of those is volunteer coordinator. But it's also, I think, part of my role is to be out in the halls and the meeting rooms and the auditorium and in the thrift store and the dining room and connecting not only with our visitors and the people who are engaging with us as members and clients, but also to be a friendly face and cheerleader for our volunteers.
So we're going to share with our listeners where they can learn more about volunteering, about donating, and that's your website, which is?
Absolutely. It is mizell.org. So that's MIZELL.org.
Rob, anything else you want to share with our listeners?
No, I think just I want to thank you for the opportunity to talk about Mizell. It's my favorite subject. And also to thank the district for your partnership and support with Mizell, not only in our events, but also in our fundraising. And the district is a part of the Cheyenne Jackson concert I mentioned as a sponsor, which is really fantastic. So very grateful to all of you for your support.
Thank you for the work that you do.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Healthy Desert, Healthy You. This podcast is a production of the Desert Healthcare District and Foundation in Palm Springs, California. For more information, please visit the website dhcd.org. Our annual conference site is healthydesert.healthyu.com. This podcast is available at most major podcast portals, including Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Audible, Captivate.fm, Spotify, and YouTube Music. Thanks for listening. Be sure to subscribe.